Yo, I'm trying to find the best beer money app out there. Today's app is YBS, bit of a weird name, but you can earn by downloading and playing games as well as doing surveys. Now, I've been using the app for a couple weeks now, and honestly, it's been a bit disappointing. And you'll find out why as I go through the app. So, let's get to my phone screen. Alright, really quick before I start, if anyone's curious on what beer money apps to continue to use or cash out from, I do have a monthly earnings section on my blog where I show what I cash out from every month. I do plan to make videos on this channel just talking a little more about beer money and what I plan to do with beer money, such as trading stocks, investing, crypto, and whatever else I plan to do with beer money. But those will be linked in the description if anyone's curious. Anyways, let's get to the review. So once you download this app, it's going to look a little different from mine. You're going to have like a selection of only one game or 2 to 3 different games. I don't remember how much they start you off with, but once you download that first game, it's going to lock more games for you, and as you download and play more game offers, it's going to give you even more offers over time. All these games are multi-level reward games, so that means that every game will have a certain task list that you can do, and reaching that milestone in that task list will pay you a certain amount. You do have to be a new user to do these apps or these game offers, so if you've done the offer on another beer money app or you've downloaded the game before doing the offer, it's not going to count for you. And even if it shows up on your like my games or your current active game offers, it's still not going to count just because you're not a new user anymore. These games do refresh every couple of hours or like daily. So if you don't really like the selection of the games that you start off with for your first or 2 to 3 different games, you can kind of come back every couple of hours to check, or just once a day to see if there's a game offer that you want to do. Now, you do have these special missions. When you first start off, you're going to get like a couple special missions that are going to tell you to download a certain or any game or start a game offer or download multiple game offers. I'm not a really big fan of these special missions, especially when they have the ones that say like download 3 different games. Traditionally, you only want to do like 1 or 2 games at the start, usually 1 game at a time, just because there's a time limit to it and you want to earn as much as you can from that game offer before it expires. And doing multiple at once kind of just hinders your time, and it just makes it slower, and you're just going to earn less overall. Now, I do want to talk about a cautionary thing when it comes to these games. The first being, you're not going to be able to see the task list when you first check on a game. Usually for most like beer money apps that offer these games, you can usually tap on the game offer and it'll show you what the task list is. And the important thing about this is being able to see the task list allows you to see how the money is spread out for your pay and how difficult the tasks are to see how much you can make. Now, if we look at the solitaire one, it says 457 bucks. That just means that you can earn up to 457 bucks if you complete every single task inside the game. But since it doesn't show this, a lot of these apps can be very deceptive, where they'll hide the like most paying ones. Like they'll hide 90% of your pay on the very bottom of the task list. And how the tasks work is, as you go down the task list, the more difficult the tasks will be for the game and the more it'll pay you. So even though this game says it's up to 457 bucks, in realistic terms, doing this game offer within 30 days, you could probably earn only like 10 bucks out of the 457 bucks. Just because the bottom like couple of tasks are like impossible to do without spending money, and most of the pay is in there. But when you're able to see the task list, you're able to see the spread of how much you'll get paid. I'm not saying every game does this, it's just some game offers are very deceptive, and when it hides the task list from you, it's just not a great thing to have. So bouncing off of the first problem that I have, as I mentioned, these games will pay you a flat rate for completing the tasks. As you can see, one of my expired tasks, you can see that hitting level 5 will pay me 10 cents, level 20 is 20 cents, and so on and so on. But with one of my most recent offers that I started, I have 12 days left on this offer, and I can earn up to 504 bucks. But if I scroll up to the task list, it doesn't pay me a flat rate. It pays me the special currency. If I hit level 130 on this game, I will get paid 17,000 of the currency. And I am at 30,000 out of 40,000 before I get paid 26 bucks and 48 cents. Now the problem here is, even completing level 130, I'm not going to hit it. I'd have to hit 140 and complete level 140 on this game. Now, knowing that I have 12 days left, I know I don't have enough time to complete level 140 to get paid 26 bucks. Now, I've done about 4 offers already just to hit like 30,000. So I'd have to do 6 offers total, or 6 tasks total, just to reach 26 bucks. Now, the big problem with this is, at the end of the day, I'm not going to get paid just because the time limit's going to run out before I can even reach the milestone. So if I did the same offer on another beer money app that guarantees a pay and completing each task will pay me a certain amount, if even if I got to where I am now and that other app pays me less than $26 for these 6 tasks to be $26, I have to do 26, or I have to do 6 tasks to reach $26 on this app. But if I did the offer on another app, even if I earned $15, that's still better than earning no money on this app. If I did the offer on another beer money app, like, hopefully that makes sense. And I want to remind you, the first problem that I had was if you click on any game, it doesn't show you the task list until you downloaded the game. And another thing I want to remind you is you have to be a new user for this. So you can't just test every game on the same phone just to see if the task list is worth doing or not. Just because it's already going to flag you as not a new user anymore. And if you want to try earning from that same game again, you're going to have to get another phone or another device just to be able to do that offer. And most beer money apps will show you what the task list is before downloading it. And it allows you to kind of compare prices on, or how difficult the task list will be on that app compared to another app, just to see which one's worth doing more. And since you don't have the ability to do that here, it's just really annoying because, like I said, you're going to have to be a new user to do that. And it just makes it really hard for me to want to do the games on this app compared to another beer money app. Just because I'm able to see the task list, I can see how they spread out the money, if they're not just putting 90% of the pay at the very bottom of these tasks, if we use this game offer that I have right now as an example, hitting level 230, let's say they put $300 on there. That's already 60% of what you can earn from this app. There is no way I'm hitting level 230. There's no way anyone is hitting level 230 with this game offer, unless you pay a large sum of money. And you're definitely going to pay probably close to $300 or over $300 to hit level 230. And overall, you're just not going to get much profit or any profit at all just to get there. And some beer money apps spread their pay a lot more fair. And, being able to see the task list just allows you to make your own judgment on whether the offer on that beer money app is better than another beer money app. Just seeing the spread and how difficult the tasks are and everything. Hopefully that makes sense, but it just makes it really hard. All of this just really makes it really, really hard for me to want to do game offers on this app. So VYBS also offers surveys. I'm not going to talk too much about it just because they added this recently. I think they added it a little earlier today, so I don't really have time to mess around with the surveys. So I'll be updating the blog section about them just to see if they're kind of worth doing, or if they have high disqualification rates, or the overall quality of the survey, or whatever else I can really find out about them. Now, moving on to the cash out options, you do have 20 different cash out options to choose from. They have your main ones like Venmo, PayPal, Visa gift card, Google, and Amazon at the very bottom. You can see the minimum cash out at the very bottom of each cash out. The range is about $5 to $15. PayPal is $10 minimum, which is a bit high for a lot of these apps. Now, it takes about 1 to 3 days, or up to 1 to 3 days, for your cash out to be received. Sometimes it can even take up to an hour when you request a cash out. It just depends on how long it takes them to review your cash out and then send you the cash out. I think they send you a notification from the app as well. But once you get it, you're going to have to hit the bell icon at the very top right. It's going to take you to notifications, and then you're going to have to hit the notification of saying new withdrawal ready. It's going to bring up this window. You're going to hit get my card. It's going to send you an email to your email address signed up with the app, and it's going to have a link to Tremendous. And once you click on that link, it's going to take you to the Tremendous page. You're going to have to re-enter your email just to confirm that it's the correct email that's going to send you your payment to. And there is verification required for this. It's going to have a face verification and ID verification. I'm not a big fan of the third party that they chose to do the verification with. It is a popular one that a lot of your money apps use these days. I'm just not a big fan because it's kind of finicky, and I have to try it a couple times before it actually works. Sometimes I even have to reopen the app just to get it to work. But when you're doing your face scan, just make sure you're keeping your face still even when the camera disappears and it says it's processing. I'm pretty sure it's still scanning at the time because every time I take it off, it has an error or something. And do the same thing when it comes with the card. Now here's a quick cash out screenshot that I have with YBBS just to show you that it's legit. Just gonna close the review off with some closing thoughts. Would I recommend VYBS? Honestly, probably not. I think it's a pretty below average app. It's kind of unfortunate because I think the games are actually pretty decent paying, if not above average, and that's probably going to be the main way that you're going to be earning from this app. But the thing that drags it down to below average for me is what I mentioned about the games and the downsides of the games on here, and which is the ability to not be able to see the task list. And it's very important to see the task list just because it's very easy to compare whether it's worth doing the offer for their game, even if it's the same game, on VYBS or on another beer money app. Even if it's paying you like up to double, even triple the price on this app, it could easily be the case where you're going to earn a lot more on another beer money app, just because, even if it's the same game, even just because like the tasks are a lot easier and the spread of like how they pay you is a lot easier throughout the tasks compared to here where you're just not going to know. They could easily have the case where they just have very difficult tasks, and then like the bottom couple of tasks on the task list are where 80 and 90% of your pay is for that game. And typically, in general, when you're doing these game offers, the further down you go in the task list, the more difficult the task will be, and the more higher the pay will be for completing those tasks. But like I said, you're just not able to see that in here. Another problem I have with this is you're also having the case where you're not guaranteed pay. And in general, when you complete these tasks, you're guaranteed a pay or you're guaranteed the currency to get that pay. But on here, there's also some games that are like that, where you get paid a certain currency instead of the pay or a guaranteed pay. And that currency just disappears because, like, when the game offer expires. And I have the case where I still need to do 2 more tasks, and I've already completed 4 tasks to fill up the bars to like 80% before I actually get paid. But I just don't have enough time to complete those last 2 tasks because they're just very grindy, and like I'm gonna have to pay money to actually like complete those tasks. And like if I were to be able to complete those tasks, I'd have to do 6 tasks in total just to get paid the amount of money. And I'd rather do those 6 tasks on another beer money app, even if it's paying me half the price, because I'm getting paid a guaranteed like payment for my time for doing those tasks compared to here, where it's just in those couple of days when the offer expires, I just lose all the currency, and it's just not going to carry over to anything else for me to spend that currency to cash out, and like ending up like wasting those like couple of weeks that I used to grind on that game. And I forgot to mention this when it comes to the game section. I think the games are a little low quality. I'm gonna have to find a better term for this, or maybe like waste of time type of games. And what I'm meaning is like, I'm not saying like the games are low paying, as I mentioned earlier. They're pretty above average. It's just, it comes down to like the game selection that they give you. I think it's a pretty low quality type of games where it's not that the tasks are usually difficult for those games. It's just how the games are built. Like there's just a certain mechanic in the game that prevents you, or there's a certain barrier that prevents you from progressing very fast. So you're just not going to be able to complete a lot of the tasks. You might only be able to complete like, I don't know, like 20% of the task list just because it's very, very grindy, or it's just, like I said, a hard wall of preventing you from progressing very fast. And generally those games are just not recommended to do in the beer money scene when you're doing like game offers. Now, there are surveys, and I'm not going to talk about them too much like I mentioned earlier. They came out like earlier today, so I didn't really have time to really mess around with them. I'll have to update that section on the blog. But all in all, like I said, I think the app is pretty below average. I don't know if I really want to recommend it. It makes it really difficult to recommend with these downsides. But anyways, if you want to try out the app for yourself, I'm going to have the sign up link in the pinned comment below. If you want to look for any other beer money apps, or you're interested in doing any or trying out any other beer money apps, feel free to check out the rest of my reviews on this channel or on the blog. Feel free to check out the monthly reviews just to see what apps I'm using or what apps I'm still cashing out from. I'm going to get back to playing some Suikoden 2. Take care.